A significant development that took place in South Vietnam after the war was the mass migration of people overseas. So the combination of political repression and the massive shortages that took place in South Vietnam convinced many South Vietnamese that they should leave the country. Now, the government made it illegal for them to leave, but many fled anyways. So in the immediate years following the war, most people who fled by boat. And these were small, often rickety fishing boats that were overcrowded with refugees. Not all of these vessels were seaworthy. And once people made it out into the sea, they were often vulnerable to pirate attacks. So this was a very, very dangerous trip. It was a very risky endeavor that people were choosing to take in response to the post-war policies. Estimates suggest that between 1/10 to 1/3 of the people who embarked on this journey died along the way. Those who were lucky enough to survive were picked up by foreign ships in international waters, and they were brought to refugee camps in various countries in Southeast Asia as well as Hong Kong. And there, these refugees would wait in the camps and hope that a foreign country would accept them as legal migrants. Many people were accepted as legal migrants and were able to resettle overseas, but others were not so lucky. Some refugees were forcibly returned to Vietnam in the 1990s when these camps were closed. These refugees are known to the world as the Vietnamese boat people. We don't know the actual numbers of people who left by boat. Most estimates are in the hundreds of thousands, but we will probably never know the exact number because they were leaving illegally. In response to the boat people crisis, the United Nations established the Orderly Departure Program. It was a program that was supposed to allow Vietnamese to migrate legally, to leave their country legally. The way this program worked is that Vietnamese would apply or would submit the applications while still in Vietnam, and they would not leave the country until a host country had accepted them for legal migration. Over 600,000 Vietnamese left Vietnam through this program. So during the post-war years, we see this mass migration of Vietnamese overseas, whether people who fled by boat or whether people who migrated through the Orderly Departure Program. Most of these refugees were settled in the United States, as well as Canada, France, and Australia.